I would be sharing the screen with all of you. Um, just I would need a voice confirmation in case you find the screen is shared. Please let me know if you can find the screen visible on your devices.
Not yet,
No, sir,
sir.
it's not visible,
Oh,
sir.
no
Not
problem,
yet,
no
sir.
problem. Just a minute. I would like to seek a voice confirmation if it is
Yes, sir, it
visible.
is visible.
Visible
Yes,
now.
it is. Yes,
Oh,
visible, sir.
Visible now.
thank you. Thank you very much for that confirmation. Uh, so let us begin today's session. This is all about business goods, or rather organizational buying. That is, we are making purchases not for end consumption, but for intermediate good manufacturing. That is, we would be purchasing products as a business entity. That is, we would be making certain type of purchase decisions as makers of end consumable goods. So effectively, this is called as organizational buying. They're also termed as OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, or B2B, or business as a market. So effectively, how exactly is the business buying situation different from the consumer buying situation? Like, for example, if you are a manufacturer and you have to interact with two set of consumers, one is the end consumer, that is a customer, who's a customer as a market, and the second is a business as a market. What exactly are some of the stark differences that is faced by these two different categories of consumers? Then, is the consumer buying decision different from a business buying decision? In what ways business to business companies develop effective marketing programs? That's again a very important aspect, because business is all about a long term interaction. Even deciding to make a purchase involves a long term process. There needs to be a lot of um, customization that needs to be done in certain goods which exactly are purchased in volumes by business, because that exactly is not how a consumer would demand customization, because a consumer buys a single product or a couple of products. But when you end up as a business buying, you're not buying one or two products, but you're buying probably 10,000 units at a time. Now, for 10,000, buying 10,000 units, all the different type of dimensions in terms of everything changes, like product changes, many a times packaging changes, many a times even pricing changes, as well as delivery also changes. That is, uh, for a consumer, you need to go to a shop to purchase a product or a goods. But in case of a bulk buying, that is, as a person who's making a bulk purchase as a business, chances are that the goods are delivered to his doorstep. It's a FOB, freight on board delivery, when that exactly happens. That is FOB site. That is, at site the goods are reaching. Now, also the time of interaction and the time of delivery also is determined. It's not only the quality that is determined, the price that is determined, the goods that is determined, the customization that is determined, but also many a times even the delivery schedule is also determined. Now, I'll give you a very simple example. There are certain type of goods which are manufactured in Aligarh. especially automobile locks. The locks which are there in your motorbikes or in your two-wheelers, these are certain locks which are manufactured at one of the locations in Aligarh. Like there are a couple of people who are manufacturing these locks in Aligarh. I know a few of them. So effectively, let's say for example, Hero Motors, they require, let's say they're making about 10,000 vehicles in, let's say, 9,000 vehicles in a week or 10,000 vehicles in a week. So 10,000 units of lock need to be shipped to Hero Motors from Aligarh to Noida at the starting of the week. You might think that's viable, the 10,000 units of locks are supposed to be shifted at the shipped to Hero Motors at the first of the week because that will be consumed for the whole week. It's not like that. Let's say, for example, 9,000 or 10,000 units of locks are not shifted like that, but rather 5,000 units are shifted every week, every, let's say, half a week. Let's say you have got twice the consignment is broken into two parts and 5,000 units is the each consignment and it has to reach on time. Now what happens, what is the difference between these two? That is why twice the delivery and why not single delivery? The simple reason is because they are operating on a process called as JIT, just in time. Because if 10,000 units are going to go, they are going to be stored. There's going to be a storage cost, there's going to be a material handling cost, there's going to be an inventory cost, there is going to be a process cost, which exactly is going to escalate the total cost of that product. Now, just understand, like they would require the products to be exactly available in time for its use. So a lead time of at least 2 or 3 days is maximum at the most. And they would like 5,000 units to be supplied at half a week, not 10,000 units to be supplied at the starting of the week or 40,000 units to be supplied at the starting of the month. So effectively, they have a delivery schedule also worked out that on such and such day, so many units have to actually arrive. Also, they have to have a mechanism that is, they have just a storage of, oh, because it's not just locks that go into a vehicle. There are a lot many components. Let's say, for example, if you're looking at tires, MRF might be having a similar sort of a transaction with Hero Motors to supply, let's say, for example, if they're making 10,000, 9,000 vehicles per week, then they can't be selling something like about 18,000 tires, that is two-wheelers, 18,000 tires per week. So they want to give a supply of 9,000 or probably break it up on a per day basis. That is, they're going to say that every day so many tires are going to come because, again, it is going to minimize on the storage cost of those tires. Maybe the transportation cost may increase, but then they have to do a cost benefit analysis in terms of the different process cost that goes into, because they're using a process called as just in time. Because all the components that go, electrical components from Lumix or different brake parts from Lucas Lispart. Again, all these components are not going to come 40,000 for 40,000, let's say 10,000 vehicles are going to be manufactured per week or 40,000 going to be manufactured per month. So they're not going to purchase for whole month, but rather they're going to break it up into different components so that the individual cost of each component comes down. So this is how even delivery schedule is mapped on the context of a business buyer. What are the different ways business to business companies developed an effective marketing program? So definitely when you decide on a marketing program for a consumer, it is going to be different from the marketing program for a business entity. So what exactly are the changes that are required for a marketing program, specifically when it comes to a business to business interaction? Also, can companies build strong, loyal relationships with business customers? Of course, that's a very important aspect simply because it's not a one-time interaction. and the cost of getting into this business is also going to be very exorbitant, simply because maintaining one customer, you got to maintain one customer, and this customer remains with you for a very long period of time. So in order to maintain this customer, you need to create a customized marketing program. Every customer has to be catered to differently. That's exactly what the industrial buying division is all about. Also, how do institutional buyers and government agencies do their buying? That's again a very important, because government also happens to be a very big business customer. Uh, it's one of the biggest contracts. If you can get a government as a business buyer, and so government as a market is a big market, and that also requires a different type. There is a agency called as DGFT. uh, like DGFT does all the transaction related context with business, because payments are going to be staggered, delivery is going to be staggered, the customization of the product is going to be staggered. All these things have to be taken into account, and that exactly happens to be the dynamics of interacting with this agency, that is government as a market. So effectively, a business market is very different from the consumer market, and that exactly intends to be the aspect that we would be discussing in our session today. So coming down to the big question, that is, what is organizational buying? Rather, looking at this question as to what is a business market, it consists of all organizations that acquire goods and services used in the production of other products or services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. So effectively, you are producing for customers, but you are an intermediary producer. And that exactly entails that you are a business, and you end up in something called as organizational buying from your consumers. Now, your consumers are, of course, another set of business. So it's called what is called as a B2B transaction, rather than a something which exactly is called as a consumer B2C. Now, coming down to an interesting caselet at this point of time, it's on something called as Larsen and Toubro. Now, this is one of the largest private sector Indian companies, which uh, is striving to create value continually and achieve global benchmarks. Now, in every sphere of its operation, technology is the key enabler, reinforcing its leadership position and sustaining its competitive strength. While technology is just a means to an end for some, for Larsen and Toubro, it represents endless possibilities. Now, Larsen and Toubro was one of the first companies to invest in technology in 1980s in engineering and construction. Its technological capabilities derive from its in-house engineering centers in Mumbai. It is also an engineering design research center in Chennai, Kolkata, for its architectural structure and civil engineering design and infrastructural development projects. It owns two technology development centers, that is TDCs, to develop new products and manufacture technologies. Cumulatively, till 2009, L&T's electrical and electronic divisions applied for and secured around 409 patents. So you can understand the amount of research and development that goes on in this enterprise, that is L&T. A landmark for many Indian companies. Now, L&T has acquired many international allocates in the area of engineering, and also it has come up with innovative products. For my personally, I happened to be at one of the locations when I interacted with L&T, and I was surprised to see that they're making these duplex houses, and they're making these duplex houses in something like in one day they would make something like approximately 10 duplex houses. How would they do it in one day, making 10 duplex houses? That's a surprising feat, but I was not allowed to record the entire thing on film at that point of time, because that was again, but what they used to do was, it was very interesting. I can explain it to you. They had like, they would cast the whole wall of a room with props, so that another, it's something like your Lego bricks. You have seen those small Lego bricks where you can make rooms and everything. So they had this entire wall that was there, that was casted. So, they had one entire field where only casting was continuously going on for a specific size of a wall. Now, these four walls were picked up by crane, put in together, and then a roof was cast somewhere else, and they would put the roof on top, and then they would secure it with the necessary fasteners. So effectively, they would just use these bricks, these cranes to pick up these walls, and then they would create this entire structure in one day. So about 8 to 10 project double-story units, and these casting, they had pre-designed windows and doors which were made in the walls. So when it was erected, so in one day you could make up like in one day they would assemble something like an whole array of multi-story units. Now this they would do it on site, and casting was done at site. That is, wherever they used to design a township, they used to go there and they used to make these castings and put up these structures. And in about, let's say, in a week, they would create the entire township. That exactly was the way how they used to be making this sort of a customized townships that they would be creating in one week. That exactly is how Larsen and Toubro was actually doing. So it was something very interesting to observe, because being on the field, I could actually see how they went about to go about doing it. Now, there are different type of B2B technology which exactly comes into play when it comes to the different type of business markets. What are some of the characteristics of business markets? It sharply contrasts with the consumer markets in many ways. First is it has fewer large buyers. Like, for example, converse to consumer markets, they have got small value buyers, but they've got huge. It's like the base of the pyramid. They've got the huge base, huge volumes, but individual buyers. So let's say, for example, you have to reach out to something like around 1 million buyers who buy one unit. So effectively, the sales is 1 million units, because let's say, for example, if 1 million uh, toothpastes are being sold, you are ending up a market of 1 million. So effectively, every toothpaste will be sold to one consumer, isn't it? And one customer would be buying one toothpaste. So 1 million toothpastes are being sold. But let's say, for example, if you are trying to look at the plastic packets in which Colgate packs these toothpastes, the packaging, the packaging for the oral dental care, they would not be buying one oral dental care packet, but the Colgate buys something like around 1 million oral dental care packets. So one customer buying 1 million units, and 1 million units are being sold to one individual customer, 1 million, one individual customer. So that's the contrast difference between a business buyer and a consumer buyer. So there are fewer buyers. So how many toothpaste manufacturers are there? Probably something like approximately 10 or 20 of them. So these are fewer buyers but large buyers. So when they go into shopping for these pastes containers, that is those plastic tubes wherein they pack in the toothpaste, they would be buying something like 1 million or 2 million, because that's the size of the market that they are trying to look for. So they are few in number. There are large buyers. There are closer to supplier customer relationship. So they've got a very close association between the supplier and the customer. In fact, many of them have backward integrated, like for example, if you go to Manesar, or if you go to Chinchwad in Pune, or if you go to Gurgaon, that is Manesar in over there where they have the Maruti manufacturing unit, you'll be surprised to find that they have got ancillary units around them. That is, now you might be saying that Maruti cars are Maruti vehicles are being manufactured. Suzuki plant actually is making Maruti vehicles. But why exactly is it that Lucas has its plant exactly next to it? Why is it that Denso has its plant next to it? Why is it that FNG, the bearing plant, that the NCB bearings, they have the plant next to it? Or why exactly is it that Lumax has its unit next to it? Simply because they exactly are manufacturing the accessories. Because, car manufacturing unit is actually a component assembly unit. So they are basically manufacturing only the body parts. That is the metal parts. The sheet metal is converted into body parts. Then that is shifted to something which is called as the platform, wherein all the different components, that is tires, come from MRF. The electrical units come from Minda. The electronics and that come from Lucas Lispart, or the injection the Lispart actually gives something. The fuel injection comes from Lucas Lispart. Denso gives the air conditioning, and NCB gives the bearing. So all these components basically are supposed to be coming. If they are supposed to be coming from different parts of the country, definitely is going to be a huge cost in terms of travel times and logistics. So what they've done is they've said, okay, now you want to manufacture for us, you set your plant next to me. I am going to give you the land, you put your ancillary unit over here. So these are original equipment manufacturers, and they are manufacturing only for Maruti. Now, Maruti Suzuki, what they have done is they said that my core competency is only into manufacturing vehicles, but this vehicle requires different components. So you have to manufacture these components and give it to us. Now, we require these components to be manufactured with these specifications, with this quality control, with this quality standards, and with this inventory time, you have to supply it to us at this and at this cost. So all this interaction makes a close relationship between the supplier and the customer relationship. So that's again another characteristics of this. Of course, the purchasing has to be a very professional. Sometimes it is all integrated, professional purchasing. Multiple buying influences. There are many factors which exactly go into. Sometimes, Maruti would like to say that if you don't have the new technology of products or machines, I'm going to make an investment, you can buy it. And then we can buy your products over a period of time, and that can be realized during the course of deferred payment for the supplies that you're giving it to us. So also, multiple sales calls are required. Derived demand, inelastic demand, fluctuating demands, geographically concentrated buyers, or direct purchasing happen. So these are some of the characteristics of the business market, which exactly it makes it different from the consumer market per se. Coming down to the buying situation, there are basically three ways of buying situation. One is called the straight rebuy, second is called the modified rebuy, and third is called the new task. So effectively, when you want to change any sort of a modification in the product specification, when you want to change anything in the context of a price, let's say for example, you can say, ठीक है packaging मत करिए, bulk packaging में दे दीजिए, you can save on the packaging cost and you can translate it into a lower cost of the product. But basically what happens is I buy things on bulk. When I buy things on bulk, what really happens is I have the packaging cost comes down, shipping cost comes down. Okay, so effectively the packaging is not required. Like for example, when you are buying anything in bulk, you are buying a single pack, and there are multiple components within that, isn't it? So that exactly is called as our suppliers. They have also you need to. This is called as the modified rebuy. Straight rebuy is as the goods is there, you are buying it. Okay. Modified is you do some sort of a customization as per your requirement in terms of the product that you intend to buy, because your end product has to be dovetailed to the requirement of the product that you are exactly trying to buy. Also for new tasks, that is, you decide to buy products on the basis of you're buying it for the first time. Let's say, for example, you are making a new sort of a security system for your building, and there's a huge cost or risk involved. Effectively, because maybe this may have you need to take into account certain type of decisions because you've not really done the homework in terms of what exactly is going to be the requirement. So effectively, you will take a long time to buy a new product because you are not very clear about the specifications. You want to look at the alternatives that are available. You want to explore some of the new technology or the cost cutting effects that can come into play in the context of the new product that you are trying to purchase, because this is the first time you're buying. So effectively, we've got these three type of buying situations which are there, and then the buying center. Now, who exactly is the buying decision maker? So effectively, these exactly are the buying centers. You start with the initiator. Then initiator might be somewhat different. Somebody who gives an idea for a new product to be purchased as a business buyer from a specific location. Then the user of the product. Uh, the user of the product is going to have a different set of specifications. I need a product with such specifications. So he is going to talk to the initiator. The initiator is going to zero in on the number of alternatives that are available in the market. The user is going to decide on the product, which of these products is actually going to serve his purpose. Then there are going to be different type of influencers. Influencers would be, let's say the costing department, which is going to actually look into what exactly is the costing dynamics, which is going to, or the delivery schedule dynamics, or the options which exactly are there, or the other things. And then there are approvers, the auditors, who is going to think which is a better option for our goods. And then there is the quality control that also can act as an approver. Then comes the actual finance department, which acts as a buyer. And then we have the gatekeepers, who basically allow the goods to enter and the right amount of goods has come or not, or things of that sort. So effectively, if we need to be just one call coming in, I'll just uh, take this. But effectively, what we need to be doing is that these are some of the buying centers on the basis of which we decide on the entire. Now, targeting within the business sector. Who are the major decision participants? What decisions do they influence? How deeply these decisions come into play? What are some of the evaluation criteria they use for making a purchase decision? So, purchasing process is how exactly it is different from the buying process. We will just like to have a look. Now, business buyers seek the highest benefit package, that is economic, technical, service, and social, in a relationship to the marketing offering costs, which exactly are there. Now, there are certain stages in the buying process. Let's say, for example, in the problem recognition stage, when you're trying to recognize the problem for a new task, yes, that's very important. But for a modified rebuy, maybe problem recognition can be there probably because you're changing your option, or a straight rebuy is no, because you don't have much option, because you already have your product customized according to the product that you're trying to purchase. For the general need description, again, for a new task, it is yes, but a modified rebuy, maybe, but for a straight rebuy, no. Similarly, for product specifications, let's say, for example, I want to have a specified type of a product for a new task, for if you're buying it for the first time, yes, you need to customize, you need to look into it. Then modified reply, again, yes, because you have specified product, because you're going to customize it according, you're going to give a new customized design for your product that you intend to purchase. And for a straight rebuy, again, yes. Coming back to other things like performance review, if you look again, all the three require a yes, because the buying phase requires performance review, because performance review is very important, because your products are going to be impacted by the products that you are purchasing for making a purchase decision also. So coming back to these important aspects, coming up with another interesting case study. This is about Kirloskar engine oils. Now, this is a very interesting case study which I would like you all to look into, because this is a company which is in the business of manufacturing engine parts, Kirloskar Cummins. They had a tie-up with a brand called Cummins, and Kirloskar Cummins were into manufacturing engines. But then Kirloskar did a backward integration and started making their own engine oils as well. So Pune-based Kirloskar oil engines, which supply the second largest number of generators to telecom towers in India, saw a 40% decline in its volume to 5,000 units in 2009-10. So there's a drop in Kirloskar gensets. The growth of telecom tower was hit in 2010 as telecom companies hit by slipping tariffs and combined expenses of 670 billion acquiring 3G license, resorted to sharing towers on control costs. The number of telecom towers is expected to grow at a mere 7% in 2014. Overall, the generator market in India shrank by 32% in 2009-10, and the contribution of telecom segment dropped from 60% to 24% during this period. Now, telecom tower operators, besides work on improving the tenancy ratio, are tilting towards environmental friendly energy sources to cut costs, further driving down the sales of the generator, which typically runs on diesel. Now, Kirloskar Oil Engines is working on developing more efficient engines and alternative fuel options such as CNG and biodiesel to ensure to retain the competitive edge to come. It is true, however, that a slowing economy has put a strange hold on low corporation purchase departments and small and medium-sized business by offering new opportunities for suppliers. Now, effectively, this product, if you see the DG sets, diesel generator sets, their market is getting impacted heavily. There has been a decline in the sale. Now, incidentally, if you have ever traveled to a place like Agra, you must have seen that we have, before waterworks, there's a huge amount of generators which are being manufactured. Last So there's a huge amount of generators which are actually being manufactured over here, and these are actually local gensets which are exactly are manufactured. But then this has been greatest hit by the current trends. One is that the cost of fuel has shot up like anything. Earlier there was a subsidy on the diesel fuel. That is the diesel had a subsidy, a huge amount of subsidy was there. And now what has happened is that the price of diesel and petrol are at par. That exactly is one of the reasons why the price of this product has come down. Also, DG sets, today we've got DG sets, actually they were spewing, they basically environmentally not very compatible devices because they basically are effluent, they give a lot of effluents, the unburned carbon. They're not very effective when it comes to the efficiency of the consumption, lot of wastage and carbon dioxide and monoxide actually escape the exhaust and they go into the environment. They are polluting units. So again, that exactly is another reason why people are trying to do away with DG sets. Also, there's going to be a ban where you're going to try to see that DG sets are not going to be there in the market. Now, effectively, this has taken a big toll on this product per se. So effectively, how exactly are they surviving? What would they need to do or how they need to go about trying to take into this important aspect? One mechanism was that they migrated to something which is called as the pump sets. Now, pump sets are devices which exactly are run by generators and they are used in farm equipments. But then different even that market has lost simply because now there is electrification. Most of the villages are getting electrification, and when there is electrification, you really don't require uh, a diesel genset for your pump set to pick up water from the for your agriculture needs. So effectively, this exactly is one of the area where industrial buying has to be. It is not like industrial buying will always be very good, but you need to redesign, reinvent, and you need to define new markets or come up with new technologies in order to take care of certain things. The coming up of solar panels is actually a great change in the the electric that is the power market, wherein basically clean energy has really come in, where you have got today lots of green power coming in, which is replacing the traditional DG sets. So effectively, there is a change in all the markets. It's not like only consumer market changes, but even the Business market also goes about having a change. So let us look into some of the stages of the buying process, which exactly are there in the business market. In the business market, we start with, again, first, like, you need to search the supplier, because as a business, you need to see who exactly are the different suppliers for the different foods that you actually require. So there are different type of searches, like you've got catalog sites, you can go there. Today we've got, you can go to a website called as alibaba.com and place your requirement, and you get all sort of B2B vendors which are over there. The vertical markets, pure play auctions, spot the barter, private exchange, and buyer alliances. These exactly are some of the ways in which how you do your supplier search. Then you've got e-procurements. That is, I was talking about Alibaba. You've got vertical hubs, functional hubs, extranet links, buying alliances, and company buying sites which are there. There is something which is called as a very interesting website, which is called as the Indian Intermediary Services. Now, intermediary services is managed by National Small Scale Industries Corporation. They basically, if you register over there, you can put, even if you're a small manufacturer, you can put your goods over there, and that is showcased for all the different type of industrial buyers which are there. So this is maintained by National Small Scale Industries Corporation and District Industry Center. They are maintaining this website called the intermediary services. So if you are registered over there, you can put your products which are there, which you are manufacturing for industrial market, you can put it over there, and that can be incorporated for different type of industrial buyer. Then the second stage in the buying process is proposal solicitation. That is, the buyer invites qualified suppliers to write written proposals. That is, you want that is, you tell that you have a requirement for a product X. Now you want different manufacturers who are manufacturing this product to write to you, giving their quotation. That is the proposal, that we are manufacturers of this and this, since such and such. These are our products. These are their specifications. This is the price list, and this is the rates at which we will be ready to provide you these goods. And these are some of our customers who exactly are buying from us in order to give the credibility. So this is the next stage. And then on the basis of these proposals, you decide to select the supplier. That is, who would be the right supplier on the basis of the uh, different aspects. You select the right supplier and you rank the desired supplier on the basis of the different attributes that you have. Now you do something which is called as the supplier evaluation model. Now in this supplier evaluation, what you do is you look at different factors, and on the basis of that, you categorize the different suppliers. Let's say, for example, you've got four type of suppliers who have given their proposal. Now you have different type of um, aspects on the basis of which you're going to rate all of them. Uh, Across each parameter, you're going to rate the different type of people who have given their proposal. Now, the most important thing, let's say for you happens to be price, but it need not be price for all. For some, it might be quality. For some, it might be timely scheduling, delivery. So let's say, for example, for you, price is the most important critical factor. So you will try to give an important weight of zero point 0.3. Let's say you give a weight of zero point 0.3 for price, and you're going to see who exactly is eligible for this. So you're going to give zero point 0.3 for the first one. He's not able to do it. He's not getting that. Second one is fair. Third is good, and fourth is excellent. So uh, you'll give a tick to it. That is excellent. So I'm going to give a rating of zero point 0.3 for that. For the rest, I'm not going to get the ratings. Next one could be that you have supplier reputation. Now you have a different reputation for different type of people. Somebody is very reputed, he has a reputed brand, or somebody is coming in for the first time in the market. You want to give a 0.2 to it, and you find that number three, that is the one you have rated good, happens to be coming here. Towards service reliability, you find that option number two, which is a fair, will come in. And then you find that the supplier reliability is number three comes in. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take each of the factors and multiply with these different loads that you're going to do. So you see, you get a total score which is called a 30 into the fourth one, plus 20 into the third one. Now, this exactly is how you come up with identification as to vendor analysis. You do a vendor analysis on the basis of these loadings that you have and the rating scale that you have for each vendor. On the basis of that, you can come up with every vendor. Now, every vendor might be having a different rating scale, and on the basis of each point that you get, you can decide who exactly is the eligible vendor for you to make a purchase decision. Now, how do you do supplier selection? You overcome price pressure. There is solution selling or risk gain, a number of suppliers, their stages, order routine specification. I give you an example of order routine specification. You negotiate, when you negotiate the final order, you are going to give something called as the technical specification. You want to give that this is exactly is going to be the technical list of specification. What exactly is the tolerance level or the quality level I'm going to actually agree to? Like, for example, if you're going to produce 1000 goods, I can maximum go for one good which can be faulty. So 1 in 1000 is, let's say, for example, the quality standard I'm going to actually use. Or I might go for a Six Sigma. That is, I'm not exactly going for even one error. Or let's say, for example, again, then the cost of the product is going to match with the quality standards of the goods that you are exactly trying to negotiate. Also, some of the technical specifications that you list, for all these technical specifications, these is the tolerance limit I'm going to have. The quantity that you need, the expected delivery time, the return policy. Let's say, for example, if your goods are going to be faulty, I am going to claim damages because it's going to be impacting my uh, um, cost. It's going to not only my cost, my cost which I could have realized from the market is going to affect that. So effectively, your warranty, guarantee, all these things are some of the dimensions on the basis of which you're going to. And then you're not going to just going to make a purchase just like that, because you're going to buy probably 10,000 units or 20,000 units. So you would like to have some sort of a review, a performance review. That is, you periodically review the performance of the chosen supplier. That is, you ask for certain type of samples, and these samples, you're going to first evaluate these samples, whether these samples are a fit or not. So you develop a B2B marketing program. Then what exactly is an effective business to business marketing program? That is, communication and branding activities are there, system buying and selling, and then one problem solution, one seller, and then the role of service, the different type of roles that they are going to actually have. So coming back to the buying buyer supplier relationship, first is the basic buying and selling that is going to be there. Then there are certain things like customer supply, cooperative systems, collaboratives, mutually adaptive, customer is the king, bare bones, and contractual transaction. Now, basic buying and selling. This is simple routine exchange with moderate levels of cooperation and information exchange that is happening. So this is the lowest level of relationship that you can have with your supplier, and a buyer and a supplier relationship. But bare bones, the relationship require more adaptation by the seller and less cooperation and information exchange. So the seller actually tries to understand the buyer's processes. So and decides to understand, okay, since you are going to be my buyer, I'm going to supply goods to you. Let me know what you're going to do with my goods, or how can I better perform, give you goods with a better option so that your operations are much more dovetailed according to the goods that exactly I'm supplying. So here, this is called the bare bones. That is, a supplier actually goes on to try to help the buyer with his type of processes. The third is contractual transaction. These exchanges defined by formal contract and generally have low levels of trust and cooperation and interaction. So contract, I have a contract with you and we stick to our terms and conditions of the contract. Third is customer supply. In a traditional supply system, the competition rather than cooperation is the dominant aspect. So sometimes what happens is that there is a goods which is which the manufacturer is actually selling, and there are so many buyers. There are so many businesses which are looking at that same seller. Now, in that case, the seller actually has a dominant position, and then he says that, look, I am going to supply these goods, and this is the contract, and on the basis of contract, either you take it or you don't take it. Okay, so this exactly gives the customer a higher perspective than the seller, than the buyer. The seller a higher perspective than the buyer simply because of the amount of the demand situation that is there for his goods. Then there is something which is called the cooperative system. A cooperative system is where basically the seller and buyer, both of them actually become partners, and neither of them demonstrate something which is called the structural commitment through legal means or adaptation. So they basically both cooperate for the entire transaction to happen. Then is something which is called as more cooperation is called as collaboration. As I gave you the example of Maruti Suzuki, wherein they decided to do a backward integration with different component manufacturers who exactly are their business consumers, business suppliers, wherein they are making, so they would collaborate with them to even help them set up their units or their research and development or their processes in order to collaborate effective supplies coming to the large buyer. And then finally, we have something which is called as the customer is king. That is, in this close cooperative relationship, the seller actually adapts to meet the customer's need without expecting much adaptation or exchange in exchange. So effectively here, the buyer happens to be a dominant situation and the seller is not in a dominant situation. So he adapts according to the requirements or the needs of the buyer, and in that context treats him like a king. So effectively, this is how the different type of buyer-seller relationship is. And let me tell you, it is not so simple. I will be addressing this issue in the context of one of the aspects of dealer network management, basically where I spent a lot of time. In one of the enterprises where I was working, I was only looking after the domestic tariff administrative management. So I was the DTAM, that is Domestic Tariff Administrative Manager for the national sales. And here, let me tell you how to do dealer network management was the key responsibility that I had. And believe me, it's a tough job. It's not what exactly is presented in books, or there is no theory for it, but rather it's all basically uh, your relationship management. How do you handle your relationships with your customers? That basically, and in our case, since we are handling this topic on business markets, I would tell you as a business, I was interacting with my dealers or wholesalers, and I had to see to it that it was all about business to business marketing and how to maintain good relationship. So customer relationship management or dealer network management happens to be an important key ingredient. And about 18 to 20 years down the line, we never had a chapter on dealer network management at that time. Probably we might have it at this juncture, but then I actually lived that situation. So I can best tell you that a relationship between a buyer and seller is all about how successful that enterprise is, how exactly that organization and what exactly happens in that entity. So with this, we will be going ahead with another important aspect which we will be discussing. That is how to look into the different aspects of market. So we will be going down. So we have seen two types of markets. We've seen the consumer as a market and we've seen business as a market. We've seen how consumer goes about making a buying decision. We've seen how business goes about making a buying decision. What exactly are the prerequisite requirements for a consumer market? What are the prerequisite requirements for a business market? Now we will be going into identifying market segments and targets. So this is the next section we would be taking. I'll be just uh, I don't want you to go away, but let's have just a break of 5 minutes and we'll be resuming. I don't want you to disconnect. We will be on, but in about 5 minutes time we will be interacting in this new context, that is identifying market segments and targets. So we'll be taking up this. Since we had a two session, we'll just have a small break so that we'll revisit this aspect once again, and we will continue. A break of 2 to 3 minutes. If you would like to go and have some water, or you can just take a small break, but don't disconnect. I would request on purpose, because again you need to connect. You'll take some time. We'll be connected. We'll just continue from here. Okay. So just a small
Okay, sir.
break, and then we'll continue with the next section that we intend to be taking. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Students, let's get underway. We'll just close this presentation and come up with a new presentation for you. I would need a small voice confirmation from you if you can actually see the presentation that actually I'm trying to share with you. I would need a voice confirmation from any one of
Yes,
you.
sir, it is visible.
Yes,
It is
sir.
visible.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you very much. We will be underway shortly.
Yes.
Herein we exactly are having a aspect. Before we proceed towards identifying market segments and targets, I would come up with a very interesting case study, which all of us have been using this product per se since our childhood. And this is something which nearly all of you must have gone through, use this product. This is about identifying market segments and targets. So companies cannot connect with all customers in large, broad, or diverse markets, but they can divide such markets into small groups or consumers or segments with distinct distinct needs and wants. So effectively, a company then needs to identify which market segment it can serve effectively. So when you have a market, you exactly have a very broad, heterogeneous group of consumers. Now, when you want to serve this market, you need to serve it with a specified program. Now, this program needs to be dovetailed or customized according to the requirement of a specific group. You can't have a heterogeneous the same program. One size fits all does not work with all the customers, but you need to have a customized set of initiatives as programs for a specific group of customers. This is called as homogenizing the heterogeneous market. That exactly is what we need to do, and which is called as market segments and targets. Now, coming up with a very interesting brand, this is called as Horlicks. I think it reminds you of your childhood days about Horlicks, a leading health food drink brand in India from uh, GlaxoSmithKline, GSK. Now, this has been providing pleasurable nourishment to a wide spectrum of consumers, ranging from children and adults to elderly people. The company has been able to serve this wide segment base through its regular flavor as well as through chocolate, elaichi, that is cardamom, and vanilla flavors. Now, however, the company realized the solution for expanding the market and achieving growth is to adopt a more focused approach through market segmentation and targets. Now, using specifically formulated products for different segments. As I said, you need to homogenize the heterogeneous market by categorizing it into different segments. So this is exactly what Horlicks did. One of the products that emerged from the strategic thinking was Junior Horlicks 123. This is targeted at preschool children. So this Junior Horlicks was targeted at preschool children. This product addresses a common concern mothers have. That is, their children are not getting adequate nutrition due to their poor eating habits. Another segment the company targeted was pregnant mothers and pregnant women and nursing mothers. A segment that needs supplements such as micronutrients, minerals, and other vital vitamins. Now, GSK introduced Mother's Horlicks fulfilling the requirements of the nutritional supplements in the target market. Yet another segment the company targeted was the calorie sensitive and health conscious segment. Now, to cater to this segment, new Horlicks Lite was introduced. This variant has no added sugar, has low fat and cholesterol levels, and contains more fiber. So, GSK has been able to expand the market and fortify its product territories through an effective segmentation and targeting strategy. So it did not cater to products based on just taste, but it decided to segment the category into three. That is for expecting females, like and who required a different set of nutritional aspects. So it took into that. Then for calorie conscious segment, as well as for the small toddlers or preschoolers who basically are very picky eaters and would be giving lots of problem to their parents because their mothers would feel that the children are not getting enough supplements, and basically Horlicks is the supplement maker for that. They would add with milk to enhance the flavor and take care of that. So effectively, this is how it went about doing segmentation. So in what ways can company divide the consumer market into segments? That's the first aspect that we would be trying to address. Second is how should business markets be segmented? Since we have already seen some of the characteristics of business markets and consumer markets, we want to see how exactly they can be segmented and how should a company choose the most attractive target market. What are the requirements for effective segmentation and what are the different levels of market segmentation that needs to be there? So effectively, these are some of the key aspects we would be looking into as we proceed with this aspect. So the basis of segmenting consumer market. So let us look at some of the basis for segmenting consumer market. That is a group of customers who share a similar set of needs and wants. So effectively, you see, we have also segmented our MBA program into four groups. We have the MBA regular, we have the MBA International Business, we have the MBA Islamic Banking and Finance, we have the MBA Hospital Administration, and we also have international marketing also as well. So we have got these four different segments that exactly are there. And then we also have catered to these different segments on three different sectors as well. Like, for example, we've got one center in Aligarh, we've got one center in Mallapuram, we've got one center in Murshidabad, we've got one center in Kishanganj. So effectively, this is also a categorization of segmentation. So you can also see geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, and behavioral segmentation are the four methods on the basis of which we can actually segment our consumers. So the consumer market can be segmented on these. So let us come down to something which is called the geographic segmentation. Now, geographic segmentation is all about segmenting in different geographical units. Let's say, for example, you've got the nations, you've got different category of nations that are there. Then you have got there was a very interesting study by R.K. Swamy, BBDO, a guide to market planning, provided that the market potential or purchasing power of urban and rural areas based on data from 515 districts in 21 states and 3 union territories. These indices are developed on the basis of 24 parameters, addressing the four basic issues. First is means and ability to purchase or consume. That is, what exactly are the means and ability to purchase and consume based on the different districts, consumption pattern of the different districts of the country, exposure to mass media and awareness level, and the extent of marketing support infrastructure. So what exactly is the size of the marketing support infrastructure, which exactly it is being reflected on a national basis. This Similarly, Madison Media, part of the Madison communication, has divided a country and town framework to help marketeers prioritize market, choosing suitable advertising media for select markets. So which exactly is the highest consuming market? Let us have a different type of orientation for it. So you must have seen that the even in the newspapers, you've got different type of supplements which are there. Like you have for Times of India also, you've got the Delhi supplement, you've got the national supplements, you've got the capital supplements, you've got the metro supplements. So every supplement is different. So this is basically one of the ways of categorizing in terms of the different geographical units. Also, if you look at any sort of an offer which is coming, even if you look at an offer which is coming from, let's say, a brand like KFC, okay, or McDonald's, then it says that this offer is available only at metros, or this offer is available only at select retail outlets. What exactly, or at select distribution points? What it simply means is that the segmentation is on a geographic basis. That is, different programs have been customized on the basis of the different customer categories, which are based on geometry. Basically, that exactly is it. Now, there's something which is called as a very interesting mechanism where it's being used. Now, this is called as segmenting on the basis of this Nielsen's Claritas prism. Now, this Nielsen's Claritas prism, this takes care of aspects regarding the uh, education and affluence, which are the areas where basically people are educated and they are very affluent. That is, they have a lot of disposable income, which they can spend not on. They can just spend on products which exactly are more not serious products, but products which exactly are that is they can be purchased on influential buying. That is, you on impulsive buying, you can purchase certain products, and these are fashion products or goods or consumer non-durables. So education and affluence is a one important aspect. Second is family life cycle. What is the stage of the family life cycle? Is the family at the growing stage? Is the family at the maturity stage, or is the family at the new creation stage? That is, you are diversifying from one family dimension to the next family dimension. That is family of procreation and family of generation. So effectively, that's the family life cycle stage. The third is urbanization. What is the level of urbanization? That exactly is the next parameter on the basis of which you decide. That is, are you still in the hinterlands? Are you in the suburban category? Are you in the rural category, or are you in the urban or the cosmopolitan category? So effectively, this is the next level of, that is urbanization. Then race and ethnicity. That's again another characteristics which exactly Nielsen prisms. Claritas prism actually defines the level of clarity, and then the aspect of mobility. That is, are you mobile? That is, are you looking at mobility as an important factor, that is migrating from point A to point B? So effectively, education, affluence, family cycle, urbanization, race and ethnicity, mobility, all of them are characteristics of this dimension. So this is something on the basis of the geographic segmentation. That is, you can divide things in region. In simpler terms, I can say that is, let's say, for example, if I'm trying to sell a product, let's say I'm trying to sell a product like Bisleri. So I want to see what exactly are going to be my segmentation in terms of North India, South India, East India, or West India, or Central India. I'm going to try to divide it into five different regions. Second is, the second way of classification I can do in geography is that I can categorize them in terms of the category of cities. That is class 1 city, class 2 cities, metro cities. Now you might say with a specific population size. That is, cities with a population of 0.5 to 1 million or cities with a population of more than 1 million. I try to categorize them differently. Also, I might try to do it on a rural or a semi-urban area, like a rural village with a population of 10,000, a semi-urban area. That is, it's not purely urban, but not a pure village, but somewhere in the middle. That is a semi-urban or small population with something like between 20,000 to 50,000. Because many of the areas you find in the periphery of the large city, which is semi-urban. It is not, they're not pure rural, nor they're pure urban, but they've got a huge catchment area. So you got a population of above 20,000 to 50,000 semi-urban area, or a pure rural village which are population of around 10,000. So effectively, this is how the basic basis of geographic segmentation, which exactly is there. Now, here we've got Prism, which exactly on the basis of zip codes of the different customers. You have got they have classified it as the young digitality, the bedway boomers, and also the cosmopolitan. On the basis of this, they have tried to do some level of segmentation, which exactly is there. That is the Beltway boomers, young digitality, and the cosmopolitans. On the basis of this, they have got their level of segmentation. Now, coming back to demographic segmentation. Now, this is a very important segmentation, and which is used by marketers. Even for marketing research, I would be using this as an important categorization and try to look at the mediation effect of this on the different purchase behavior that it has for purchases. And this is exactly what marketing executives also would like to be doing for their different purchase dimensions or the products that they are trying to sell. First is the age and life cycle stage. What is the age and the life cycle stage of the different type of consumers? The second is life stage, at which life stage they are. Second is the gender. Now we've got multi genders, which exactly earlier we used to looking at only male and females. Then we've got income. So income is a very important factor on the of demographic segmentation, because this defines your purchasing power and your propensity to consume. That is how much amount of wealth you have and how much amount of wealth you generate and what you do with that wealth. So how much of it can we actually realize it for our products. Now, income is a very important. So we can also look at the income and the family comparison. I'll try to tell you like this. Like, for example, there are two people in a family. It's a family consisting of just two people. So I will call it as, this can be segmented as double income. Okay, no kids. So DINK, DINK, double income, no kids. Then you can have uh, single income, no kids. Okay, they just a family has started, so single income is there and there are no kids. So you have got husband and wife both working, so you've got double income, no kids, single income, no kids. Then you can have a classification which is called as a single income, single kid. Okay, there are a family of four, single income, single kid. Now single income, double kid, that is there are two people, single income, one person is only earning and there are two kids in the family. So single income, double kid. Now that's basically. Then we have double income, no kid, double income, single kid, double income, double kid. So this is, see, with just these two levels of classification and four family members, I can have so many levels of segmentation that I can create. So all of them have a different type of categorization in terms of the segmentation that I can have. So effectively, income can be cross-related with the size of the family, and that exactly can actually help you segment into two different dimensions. So with the just two, you see, I could get such a huge number of permutation combination in terms of the classification that I've got. But then you can have generations also coming. That is it the first generation, second generation, or third generation of people which are there in the family? That is, if their grandparents are there, senior citizens are there, only the young people are there, or only kids are there. So you can look into generations also as such towards demographic segmentation. Again, something called as the race and culture. So what exactly is the culture that exactly is there? Let's say, for example, I'm looking at for selling different type of food products. North Indians have a different type of a taste. South Indians have a different type of a taste, but they're catering to different type of food category. East Indians have different, and West Indians have different, and Central Indians, they have got a different type of a taste bud. So effectively, the type of food also can be defined on terms of the culture. Also, the dress that they wear, also the type of lifestyle, also the type of like behavior that they exhibit. Many ethnic cultural aspects. I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other, but we've got a rich culture. So effectively, we've got to categorize on the basis of culture and race. That also can be done in terms of the demographic segmentation. And then we've got the age and life cycle stage that also can be looked into in that context. Now, I will try to come up with something very interesting at this point with a very interesting case study. This is called as Titan Zoop. This is a watch for children. Now, it's a very interesting area because children, they don't really need to worry about time, isn't it? They got to be guided by their parents. But wearing a watch is a very funky thing, and children would like to also wear watch. So there's a huge segment which Titan decided that this is a huge segment which we can actually capture, and let us have watches for small children. So they came up with a brand called as Titan Zoop. Now I'm going to be talking about this case study. So Titan's first entry into children's watch category in India was through a brand called Dash. Okay, this targeted at children of the age group 6 to 14. However, this brand was withdrawn because it felt that timing was premature as parents were not ready to spend on kids' accessories at that point of time. Subsequently, realizing the potential of this segment, Titan re-entered the market under a new brand name called Zoop. Now, the design element of these watches reflected the preference of the target segment. Watches for girls featured a range of candy colors and summer flowers, whereas watches for boys featured nautical colors and sail elements. To remain contemporary and to keep pace with the new trend, the company launched a limited edition of watches depicting popular characters of Walt Disney Pictures Toy Story. So those of you who have seen Toy Stories, the different characters were there. They were in the face front of those watches. The color scheme for the straps and dials resonated the vibrant and bold colors of the character. Each watch has a story to tell, so which helps in connecting with the target segment. In order to create promotional excitement, the company launched a scheme that include a pack of goofy bands on the purchase of any Zoop watch. These bands can be worn as bracelets. So effectively, this is how this was launched. So it became a very popular among children, and the advertisement campaign for Zoop was based on the theme that today's children want to have their own watches and reflect their personality and gain attention in their peer groups. So the Be a Star advertising campaign was aired on television channels targeted at children and some of the general entertainment channel. The brand is available in a wide range of retail points, including Titan's exclusive showrooms, large format shops, and multi-brand shops. They also became gift devices for gifts for small children. Like you could give them different type of gifts, like on their birthdays or things of like that. So when you want to give anything to the children, they can value time at a very young age. So this was something which was catered to the aspect where we're trying to cater to age and life cycle stage. So this was a segmentation which was designed by a company catering to the product for a specific age and life cycle stage, that is for children. Another product which exactly was there, they designed at the age and the life cycle stage I will come up with is called as mobile phones for seniors. This was by a brand called Eyeball. Eyeball is a brand. It came up with a brand, Indian mobile, which is called as Asan. Eyeball Asan. While most of the cell phone brands focus on young consumers and introduce products with technology features important to the target group, because generally mobile phones are very trendy among young generation because it is more tech savvy and considered that it enhances their tech capability and personality. But this one company in India has introduced a handset specially targeted for senior citizens under the brand name Eyeball Asan. Asan means easy in Hindi. The handset has several features that are important and useful for the target segment. It has a talking keyboard. So every time you press a button, it would actually resonate with the voice. With large buttons. Now, it has large buttons because at a later stage in life, people would be challenged to look at with glasses, and all the time they would not be having the glasses on, so they would prefer larger buttons so that they don't dial the wrong button. So large buttons so that it is very easy for them to identify, and every time they press the button, it would speak out the digit it's being actually pressed. So it will reconfirm that they have pressed the right digit. And the display screen has bigger fonts. Also, that the font size of the display screen is very big. The phone has a bright LED torch with a dedicated button. So you got a dedicated button. The moment you press, the LED light would come on, and the torch, it would double as a torch. One of the important features of this phone is an emergency SOS button, which when switched on, automatically dials 5 numbers, signaling that the caller is in need of urgent attention. So the phone has Sorry, there was a small network glitch. So I'll just repeat what I said last. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So what I was talking about was that this phone, which was launched by Eyeball for the senior citizens, it had actually 5 numbers stored in the memory, that in case there is any emergency, the senior citizen would just press one switch, and it will automatically dial the five numbers to which exactly are stored in its, so that these people can call back and understanding that there's some sort of an emergency and would rush in order to help, because they understand the need of emergency, and this phone, if it's kept in handy, is going to be very helpful. So effectively, again, this is customizing a product for a specific age and life cycle stage. So effectively, what they have done is they've taken care of this aspect called as the demographic segmentation. Now, coming back to gender, you might be looking at some of the aspects how gender can be used at a categorization, because today most of the products are unigender products. So you can't actually categorize a product on the basis of gender. But then I've got a very interesting case study for you, wherein it says that there's a bike, there's a product by Mahindra Rodeo, where basically this is being classified um, that basically it's a two-wheeler, and Mahindra Rodeo, it's a two-wheeler, and this exactly has the model, this Kareena Kapoor, who basically is trying to eye this model and says the punchline is it's got power, it's got style, and she's got her eyes on it. So effectively, this is trying to categorize that although this bike is being driven, it's been ridden by there's a male counterpart who's riding this bike, but Karina, the ad basically says that Karina is looking at this bike, so basically representing the females. It says that it's got power. The bike, Mahindra Rodeo, it's got power, it's got style, and she's got her eyes on it. So effectively, she's looking forward to having that bike to doing away with gender segregation. That is, this bike is not only meant for males, but it's meant for females as well. So females would also be equitably. So it's doing a declassification in terms of gender segregation, but rather it's a unigender product. Also coming up with income as a segregation, where you have got this tag your wash, which exactly is been the brand ambassador has been Shah Rukh Khan, who says that history begins every morning. So because this is a timepiece, so this goes like this, that he is trying to, this is now Tagure are advertised regularly in the Indian media. It is a wristwatch like Rolex, Omega, and Tagure. Titan has introduced the Xylix as a special brand catering to the higher end wristwatch market. At the same time, the market for consumer products is showing a rapid growth due to low unit per price package target market for whom affordability is a major criteria of the product and brand choice. So effectively, this is a high-end watch where basically Shah Rukh Khan is used to exemplify the value of time by the value of this superstar, and that exactly is people who want to showcase that they exactly are value individuals would like to be going for this sort of a chronometer. So effectively, income has been used as a segmentation target for luxury brands at this perspective. So I think we will look into some more aspects of classification in this context and go down to the next level of the next type of classification per se, that is beyond this, and that happens to be something which exactly we've already talked about demographic by age. One wants to change with age or life stage, like for example, a person's major concern. We've also discussed about the life stage aspect of the demographic segmentation. We've talked about the gender, men and women, they different have different attitudes and they behave differently. Income as a segmenting factor, that is income segmentation is a long standing practice. We will be looking at this aspect in the next class because we've already overstepped the time. It's about 10:30. We will be looking at this aspect of demographic segmentation in the next class, that is towards generation. What exactly are millennials, that is Generation Y, Generation X, baby boomers, and silent generation. So I must say that it's time for us to close this session. Thank you for being with us. I have auto recorded the attendance for all of you. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you and sharing the ideas as there was there in the class. If you have any queries or comments or any aspects that you wish to record, you're most welcome. We've already stepped the time. You can always exit at any point. If you wish to make a point, I'm all ears. Thank you. If you wish to quit,
Thank you, sir.
all yours, because I think we're already 10:33.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.